Hey Dashers, what's going on? I'm super pumped to be with you guys these next 4 days because I've been checking in myself with everything that's been going on and all of the trainings, and I've been implementing all of the things and kind of getting a little reboot myself. And this training is no joke. So I really hope you guys are taking full advantage of everything that you're getting because the content here is amazing. But if you guys don't know me, my name is Meredith, and I am currently a three-star diamond, and I'm in New Jersey. I absolutely I love Beachbody. But a little bit about my journey. I knew about the coaching opportunity for about 6 to 7 months before ever signing up. Sarah Try is my personally sponsored coach. And my journey, honestly, I hated working out my entire life. I never did it. I was never into fitness. I was never into health. I was not that girl on any sports teams. I almost failed gym class twice. I've always been sick, never knowing what that sickness was until not even 3 years ago, actually. And I was stuck in this job as an eyewear designer that sounds amazing, but it really isn't, because if you've seen The Devil Wears Prada, that's real life, and that was what I was living. And it's not a way to live, and I am not that kind of a person, and I love happy, positive people, and I wanted my life to change and be a reflection of that, and I would have never gotten that in the fashion industry in New York City. So I learned that very quickly, and I knew I needed to change, but I didn't know how to change personally with my health, and then how do I change careers? I went to school for fashion marketing. I invested all this freaking money into college, and I, was in this full-time job. I was working like 80 hours a week, living the dream. I mean, I was traveling a lot. I got to travel to Italy a bunch of times for Fashion Week and stuff. And it was very hard because ideally, right, I was living the dream that I thought I always wanted, but my heart and my soul was telling me something totally different. So I started looking into how I can change jobs and career. And what I did one day was I started looking into things that I really love doing. And at the time, the one consistent thing that I started doing was TurboFire. And I fell in love with TurboFire. And I had this amazing, cute little blonde telling me that I was beautiful and that I could do anything. And I believed her. I'm such a CJ lifer. I mean, anything that woman says, I will 100% do, because I believe in her, and that program changed my life. So in the process of changing my life, because I went from never working out and hated it to only having that 30, 45 minute, sometimes 60 if you've done turbo, time of the day where it was the only time nobody could bother me. It was the only time I didn't have my cell phone near me. I mean, work couldn't talk to me. Work couldn't get in contact with me. I didn't have to talk to anybody. And it was just the one time of the day that became my time. And I started calling it Maritime, because it was the only time when I was just truly happy. I loved it. And this tiny little thought popped in my head one day while I was bouncing around in my basement doing turbo. I was like, I would love to be that person, because that one in the video doing the workouts, that's inspiring somebody they don't even know who else is in a basement. Like, I wanted to be that person. And so in that process, I enrolled into the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I was determined to become a holistic health coach. And I found my path, and I had that aha moment. I was like, I'm going to change my life. This is going to be amazing. And what happened was IIN was more for me personally than a career change. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about my living. And in the process, I had my second surgery for what I now know to be endometriosis, which is a huge part of my life, which is an autoimmune disease that I have. And I learned more about myself than opening up a business and really becoming a health coach. And one random day, scrolling through Facebook, guess who decides to pop up into my life? Sarah Try. And I knew about coaching with Beachbody because I remember when I first tried to look into how to change my career, I was on like Craigslist or something, and I saw an ad for, working with Shaun T and Chalene Johnson and Tony Horton. And I obviously was like, that's my jam. Like, I want to do that. But I didn't understand it, so I didn't end up signing up. But I had one conversation with Sarah, and the next day I signed up. And I literally took off running because I was already proof of the products. Like, I love Turbo. I mean, that's my jam. And I literally took off running. I think in my first 2 weeks, I hit Emerald super fast. I got to Diamond within 5 months. Like, I was in it to win it so quick. I went to my very first summit as a Diamond, and I was so inspired. And I actually came back from my very first summit, and a month later, I quit that corporate job in New York City. So I was really making things happen, and I was making them happen very fast. But something happened. I'm not really sure what it was. It was probably just a lack of confidence in myself and still trying to figure everything out. But I'd never advanced from Diamond. I was a solid Diamond. I never dropped from Diamond. I think I might have fallen out of Diamond rank once, and that was a really long time ago. But I was a very solid Diamond. And I was doing all the right things, but I never advanced until a year and a half later. So seeing so many people around me that have been doing it for a shorter period of time, it was very discouraging. And I think I let all of that stuff just get to my head more. So if you guys are here and you're seeing all these, diamonds and 5-star and 8-star popping up all over the place, I mean, I was not that coach. And it took me like a good 2 years to really understand what it was going to take to get me further. I have been on a very long journey, and I'm a Success Club all-star. Like, I've never missed Success Club, yet I couldn't advance my business any further. And it was very frustrating. But what I had to learn, and I think I had to learn it the hard way, was I wasn't truly doing the correct things for myself. I would always look at other coaches and literally just copy what they were doing, but it wasn't me. It wasn't obviously in my heart, because I truly believe that your energy flows through social media. And when you're just copying somebody else's words in a post, it shows almost, like, I just feel like people can see through that. And I wasn't doing a lot of the correct things, even though I said I was, and I tried to, convince myself that I was working so hard, and why couldn't I find my own Carly Del Carlo, right? Like, how come I couldn't, be that? And that beats you down after a while, and I needed to learn the hard, long way that that's just not this business, and that's not who I am, and I needed to figure it out for myself. And that was a very big slap in the face. If any of you guys, are feeling that way too, I mean, you kind of got to really sit down and have that conversation with yourself. Like, my why changed. I had to change my why because it wasn't fueling me the same way. So I really needed to sit down, and I changed my why, which for some of you, your why might constantly change. My why is constantly changing. My why from January of this year is not the same why that it is today. So maybe change your why up if things aren't flowing the way you want. Another huge thing for me was I had to get myself organized. I had to understand truly what I was doing, why I was saying certain things, how I was saying them in my life and in a certain order and time. Because if I'm not organized, I'm going to sit here and just kind of wander around in my own brain and sit on Facebook, basically scrolling the newsfeed if I don't have a game plan. So I knew that's just the things that I needed for myself to sit down and actually get to work. I was presented with the video from Eric Worre, I don't know, GoPro. So I hope you guys have all read that book, because that was my huge game changer. The very first time I watched his video, which I'll share later, that was by far my absolute best month I think I've ever had. I signed up 8 coaches and I hit Success Club 26. I've never done that before, guys. Like, that's never happened, and it hasn't happened since, but I needed that trigger and that aha, and I needed something that I could literally just copy and paste. And it was very scary, but, you know, because I trusted myself and I really had that talk with myself that I didn't want to have, that's when things changed for me. But not only for me, I mean, it obviously changed my team, because these Star Diamond things sound amazing, right? But I'm not rank advancing to 5-star for myself. Like, I truly want to help people. And at the end of the day, that's kind of why we all signed up as a coach, right? You know, my thing about coaching has totally transformed my life. And I believe in coaching just as much as I believe in Turbo Fire, because Turbo Fire changed my life and coaching changed my life. So once I worked through with mental things on my end, that's when I started seeing such big differences. I literally went from this girl who was always sick, never worked out. I mean, I was, if you guys remember Daria from MTV, God, I feel like I'm aging myself. In the opening scenes of Daria, she would literally just stand there in volleyball class and go like this. Like, that was me. I hated it. And if you guys know me today, like, I'm not that girl. Like, I'm this tiny little, like, Energizer bunny. I love everything fitness. If it makes me sweat, I want to do it 17 times. And my life completely changed, and it was all because I decided to become a coach. And I'm sure you guys all have very similar stories, but you know the power of coaching, right? And you know why you signed up, and you know why you're here. And it's just plugging and playing those things into your daily life that is going to help you get to that end result that you want. So it's just having a game plan for me that changed my life. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today, a little bit later. And, you know, today, right now, just kind of think about something that you know, like, what's not working, right? Like, what have you tried? What's not working? You know, think about those things. You know, are you really doing those 3 vital behaviors every day? Like, I had to really sit down and talk to myself and be like, Meredith, cut the shit. You are not doing PD every day. You are not inviting every day. Like, you work out every day, yes. But the other 2, nah. I mean, I could say I do. Nobody knows, right? But same thing with how you cheat with meals. It's the same thing with coaching. Like, those 3 vital behaviors are there for a reason. So I would definitely try to today take a moment and really think about things that you want to work on, but that have just not worked yet. Because I've definitely been there. It took me 2 years to get my shit together. And it's not an easy conversation that you might have to have with yourself. And it honestly was not an easy one for me to have with myself. But once I had that conversation and I sat myself down and I wrote everything out, that's when things really began to change, okay? So that's your first little challenge for today, is just to really think about things that are not working for you. You could share them here, because guaranteed somebody either is facing the same thing or they've gone through it. So let's talk about it, okay? So please share below, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say, because I've probably been there, and I might still be there, because we're all working every day, right? Thank you guys so much, and I am so excited to talk to you the next 4 days. Can't wait to talk later and share some more about Eric Worre, or I'm going to go Google that and how to pronounce his name, okay? Bye, guys.